Do hard money loans show up on your credit? Paul Maguire here. I've done millions of dollars in hard money loans, and I can tell you that people often ask, is if it's going to show up on your credit? Is it going to show up when you go to get other loans? You know, what's the story with the hard money loans? So we're going to talk about hard money loans here. Very important topic. Let's start with saying that I think hard money loans are actually easy money loans, okay? The term hard money really refers to they cost a little more money and the terms are a little harder, but in terms of getting loans, I find them to be easier. And I also find them to be very effective for a real estate investor who wants to build a portfolio or who wants to get into a position of buying, fixing, and selling properties. So the question is, how does that affect you financially and what goes on? So hard money loans typically do not show up on your credit. However, they do need to be listed when you do your loan application. They do need to be on your schedule real estate. So a recent loan that I did, I have a number of fix and flips. It's my operation, it's ongoing, and so that number changes. So I gave the bank an estimate of the number of loans that I have currently at the time of the application, and they use that and just ask for the terms of those loans. You know, they're 8, 9, 10%. They're interest only. The payments are this amount, right? And they use that for underwriting and doing another refi for me or a purchase at this particular case. So when you have private money loans and you have them, typically they do not show up in your credit, but if you don't pay them, they will show up when they run other reports besides your credit, which will give them an idea of any defaults you've had or any loans you didn't pay. And when you apply for a loan that is going to be on your credit, say you apply for a loan, pick an institution, Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, US Bank, pick one. And you fill out the loan application, it's going to ask you if you have any other loans. I would highly recommend that you write down all the loans that you have, even if they aren't on your credit report, okay? Because the bank wants to know about those. And there's this thing called Title 18 at the bottom of the mortgage application that you're signing, saying that you're telling the truth, and if you don't, it's a potential felony and fraud. So you don't want to have that problem. So my suggestion is, even if it's not on your credit report, make sure if you're applying for a loan, you report it, you tell them, okay? People have gotten in a lot of trouble where they have multiple loans that aren't on their credit report and they didn't disclose them, and then they had a problem where they couldn't pay the loan. It came back to bite them, and sometimes in a very bad way. So avoid that, okay? The other thing with the hard money loans or easy money loans, as I tend to think of them, is that they're usually based on the value of the property the way it is now, the value of the property in the future, the appraisal, the cash flow of the property, versus, say, when you're buying a home, your credit score that you're going to live in, your credit score on a regular institution may determine if you even get the loan or not. So where a private money loan, you may be in the 500s and get a private money loan because of the property, the cash flow, the potential upside. You may not get that with a financial institution because your credit score is too low. So that's kind of the quick and fast answer to that. But there's other things to consider too with the private money loans, because when you ask, do they show up on my credit? The other thing you got to think about is, well, if they're not on a credit, then if I get them, what if I don't pay them? It won't show up on my credit. So that's cool. Well, not really. Because if you don't pay them, you can lose the property, lose your reputation. You find out that other banks and other lenders may find out, well, you borrowed from this private money lender and you didn't pay him, and now you're trying to borrow from me, and we know each other because it's a small world, right? So it's a small world, okay? And people talk to each other. And there's other reports outside of your credit report that have information about you, your loan history, your payments and all that, that can affect your ability to get a loan. So you say, well, I got good credit, I got good financials, all that, but I didn't get the loan. Why? Because they found out you defaulted on 2 loans last year that they didn't know about. It wasn't on your loan application, and it wasn't on your credit report. And you thought they'd never find out. They find out. More than anything today, they can find out pretty much anything, okay? There's so many reports. There's even institutions go and look at, how much money you have in the bank, what kind of credit cards you have, and these other things to determine your worthiness as a borrower. A lot of that information helps with marketing, right? So although it may not be on your credit report, often usually is not, but depending on the lender, you can ask them specifically, is this going on my credit report or not, okay? By the way, if you like the videos here and you're learning, please like, subscribe, comment below, put questions below, and I'll try to help you with anything that I can, okay? There is lots of different options for hard money loans and private money loans. I've done a loan recently with someone that was a private individual. I've done loans with sellers that are carrying financing. I've done loans with institutional hard money lenders, okay? And I do these loans all the time. But when you do your applications, make sure you report them. And when you think they're not gonna be on your credit, you might be right, but they might be somewhere else. So even asking the question, do they show up on your credit report? It's kind of like, why are you worried about it, right? Like, if they did show up in your credit report and you made all the payments, it's going to raise your credit score and help you, right? In a lot of businesses, like for example, think of the car business, if the biggest car loan you've ever had is say $40,000 and you're going out and you're trying to get a $120,000 car loan, they may not give it to you because it's so far out of balance, right? If the biggest private money, hard money loan you ever got was $200,000 and you're trying to get $1.5 million private money loan, they may not do it because you don't have enough horsepower. You have enough experience, right? Where someone like me or others who do things like I do, I may call for $1.5 million loan and they get the information and yeah, no problem. A lot of times they can tell me on the phone, right? When I first initially call, okay? Because why? Because they've got this long track record. So people tend to overthink like their credit report is the end all of all information about them, and it's not. There's lots of other reporting. One of my friends, he owns Vivex Credit Solutions. He has a whole thing called Credit Prepare, right? It's all about all these other reports that agencies have that you may not even know about. So whether it shows up on your credit report or not, doesn't really matter. Bottom line is the OP want their end back. So when you borrow money, pay it back, make the payments. And if you get in trouble, you have a problem, call, okay? You're not the first to have a problem. The market changed, or I borrowed this hard money and I can't refinance because the rates are too high, or I don't have enough of debt service coverage, which I talked about on other videos, where I say you have to have enough money to make the payments, okay? If you have a problem, talk to your lender. But in terms of the credit report, that's your answer. Always do the best you can to keep good credit. And of course, always try to, not borrow more than you can afford to borrow. And most importantly, pay the money back, sell the property, refinance it, get a partner, bring in additional cash, whatever you need to do. But remember that relationship with the people that feed you, the people that give you money is important. And I've had relationships for many years with people who have lent me money. So it's important. I hope you enjoyed this. And on the next video, we're going to talk about additional ways to get into real estate, finance real estate, and improve your ability to borrow as well as improve your ability to build real estate as an investment vehicle for wealth and financial freedom. I'm Paul Maguire. I'll see you in the next video.